Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another video. If you have not noticed already, I am up here and I am not down here. Let me know what you guys think of that in the comment section below. I moved my camera and overlay around for the stream because we had our first live stream yesterday for about an hour. It went very well. The link is in the description. I plan on being live today right around 4 o'clock Eastern time, so make sure you click the link in the description, follow me on Twitch. Come on over there, say hi, and just hop in the chat and talk to me. It's much more interactive, I think. When I have 10 or 15 of y'all over there that are sitting there active in the chat, being able to talk back and forth about some of the plays. I'm going to be talking about the Showdown slate like we are in this video, but I will be talking about everything in depth rather than just kind of a brief overview of the way I plan of attacking it. I will also be talking about the NBA slate tonight, so I hope to see some of y'all over there. Let's jump right into this video. If you have not already, though, please do leave a like on this video. I greatly appreciate it, as always. And if you do have any questions, comments, or concerns for me, please leave them in the comment section below, whether it is DraftKings, FanDuel, Yahoo, any DFS site, or season-long fantasy question. I'm happy to give y'all advice when I can. Now, let's jump right into this one. We do have the Pittsburgh Steelers playing against the Cleveland Browns, obviously, but this is a interesting showdown slate nonetheless because of these prices. It's actually not that hard in cash, I don't think, to fit in everybody we need to. There's only one major fade that I'm concerned about in my cash lineup. I do, as of right now, I'm not going to say this is where I'm going to end up because I'm still kind of on the fence, but as of right now, my favorite way to approach cash is going to be Kareem Hunt at captain. We saw 9 targets last week. It looks like he's going to be getting a lot of work in that Cleveland backfield, as he should. And then if we have him up there, that's going to allow us to lock in James Conner, lock in Odell Beckham, lock in Baker Mayfield. Those are all very high floor players. That's what we need in cash. And if Kareem Hunt has another 14-point game, we're not missing cash with this lineup. If he still has if he has like a 5 or 6 point game, we're still probably going to end up being fine because of all these high floors we have. If you're not going to go Hunt, I definitely don't mind a kicker at captain or even paying up at captain for somebody like James Conner. Those are kind of the 3 ways I think are viable in cash here on DraftKings tonight. But after these 4, I'm going to save the last 2 for my members. I usually give y'all 5. I got to slow it down with that a little bit. We are giving out quite a bit of information that people are paid members for, so I got to tone it down a little bit on the cash side because I feel like I've had a few videos now where I just give out my cash lineup. But let's talk about tournaments, though. This is pretty short and sweet. His name is Odell Beckham Jr., and he's playing on a primetime game. It is going to be a very mainstream tournament play, I think. I don't think he's going to be, 3 or 4% at captain or anything crazy. So you're going to have to differentiate yourself below that captain spot. So if we were to go with Odell up top, and I'm personally looking to have a lot of Kareem Hunt exposure. Let's see what this looks like if we play Kareem Hunt here. Now, if Ricky Seals-Jones misses, I like this a lot with Demetrius Harris and Baker Mayfield and James Conner. And then we can figure it out after there. But the reason I like this a lot, though, is if you really want to go and grab Deontay Johnson, you can. But I think it's really awesome to leave that salary on the table and go and grab somebody like Chris Boswell. You're going to be so separated from the field. That might be a unique lineup tonight. That might be one of one in the main GPP. When you leave anything more than $2,000 salary on the table, you're looking at a unique lineup most of the time, I feel like. It's one of those things where it's going to be really hard to kind of get away from the pack tonight. So I'm going to be trying really hard to do that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with placing first in the main GPP with a great lineup that's a little bit more mainstream, and you're splitting it with 100 people, and you're making a $2,000 or something. Don't get me wrong, that's awesome. But if you can beat that one cluster of people by 0.1, because instead of taking that lineup I just said, and Deontay Johnson scores 7 points, but 7.9. Let's say he scores 7.9, but Chris Boswell scores 8. And that's that 2,400 that you threw away and you left it on the table, and Boswell scores 0.1 more, and it lets you pass that cluster instead of splitting for 2K each. Instead of that, you're winning 250 grand. So I like to explain that in depth. I want to make sure you guys understand what I'm talking about. I'm not just saying leave money on the table and be different and burn your money or anything like that. It's a measurable risk, and I think that's the best way to put it. If we do have Odell up top, though, I'm not fading James Conner, I don't think, in many, if any, lineups tonight. I think it's a viable fade if you really want to try and stretch yourself away from everybody else. But I personally don't plan on fading James Conner. He looks amazing, and I think this is actually a really good matchup for him. We could go Nick Chubb and say, we could try to capture all the Cleveland touchdowns with these two guys right here. Another thing we could do is go, I think this is also really interesting, if we go Chubb at captain, and then Kareem Hunt as well below, and then maybe even still go Odell or something like that. I think there's a lot of some of these mild negative correlations, like playing both running backs from a team and a wide receiver from that team. It's something that you normally wouldn't like, but when you look at the players, like just look at the names that I have plugged in right now. Like look at these names. Like we have James Conner, Kareem Hunt, Odell Beckham, and Nick Chubb all in a showdown lineup. It's pretty incredible just from the names. I mean, Kareem Hunt, from what we know him as, is just an absolute monster. Odell Beckham is obviously OBJ. James Conner has been an absolute workhorse, and Nick Chubb has had a 40-point upside at least. And just absolutely, he's a baller. Nick Chubb is seriously a baller. So he had that 42-point game against Baltimore, and then he had a 32. And then other than that, he has not had a 20-point game this season. So and he's not even boom or bust, though. I mean, he's still double digits every single week. He's actually, I think, a very safe captain play because of that. He's got that high floor. But he's also got that ridiculous ceiling. So God forbid if he drops 42 fantasy points, you have him in captain. You also have these guys below. Then you're really talking like takedown. One of the things I do want to mention also, it's really ugly down here. I generally mention somebody in this range, like Monday Night Football. I mentioned Kellen Bourne, who did very well. But it's one of those things where I normally try to mention somebody that's going to be the best punt play on the slate. I'm not looking for any of them. If Ricky Seals-Jones misses, you're going to see all the work go to Demetrius Harris at the tight end for Cleveland. If Seals-Jones is out, I guess Pharaoh Brown does warrant some consideration maybe. All you need is one catch, for 15 yards or a touchdown, or something like that. That would be insane, but that's the only punt play that I think is worth really mentioning. But I don't want to take up too much time. Let's jump over to FanDuel real quick. I said it on stream last night because I talked about this slate briefly. It's really, really hard to picture a majority of so if we just have our screen right here, we have all 5 of these up, and then we're looking at as many players as we can right here with the same time as looking at that. I would say probably 80+% of all lineups in the main tournament on FanDuel are going to have one of these 5 guys at captain. Because they are the top 5 guys. You're not on Draftkings. You don't have to pay 1.5 times the amount just to get them in your captain spot or MVP. If you just come down one player to Odell Beckham at 11.5, I don't think a lot of people are going. I don't think 20% of the field's going to have Odell and captain on FanDuel. I think most of the field's going to have Chubb, Baker, and Connor. I think that's kind of where everybody's head's at, and then they're going to try to differentiate themselves down below. But regardless, you're going to be looking at split prizes, I feel like, on FanDuel, especially on a slate like this. If we go Odell up here, we go Baker, we go James Conner. We then have 92.50, and then we could go we can go Kareem Hunt. We could go Demetrius Harris. If we go Harris here, what does that leave us? 12K. Then we can get Jarvis. We can get Jarvis Landry. That's pretty interesting. You're basically saying it's an all-out battle for Baker Mayfield, just slinging it. I actually don't hate that game script either. This Pittsburgh defense has looked really good, and I think everybody knows that this Pittsburgh defense has looked really good. I forgot to mention them over here on DK, but I think they've scored like less than double digits 1 time or 2 times this year. They had week 1, obviously they got pounded. Week 2 against Seattle, one of the most lethal offenses in the league still, 7 fantasy points. After that, double-digit performances every single week. I can't believe I forgot to mention them over here. I think they're a better tournament play than cash play, but I'm going to leave it at that. I got to save some of the intel for the members over on the site. But that is very intriguing, and I think a lot of people are going to take that into consideration over here on FanDuel, not because they can play the defense, but because they're going to say, like, this Pittsburgh defense is no joke. Let's look for James Conner, Jalen Samuels, Mason Rudolph maybe. Let's go with a Pittsburgh stack. If we take the opposite route and we say Baker Mayfield has a career game and starts getting that Cleveland team back on track after the big win in Buffalo, and we go ahead and we plug in Jarvis Landry and we say Baker throws for 300+ with 2+ touchdowns, this is a great lineup for him to do that. And if Odell Beckham has both of the touchdowns or 100+ and a bulk of the touchdowns, whatever, So I'm interested in that. If we were to flip these two guys, if we put Baker up top, Odell down here, let's get off of him. Can we get Chubb in here? I don't know if we can. No, it's going to leave us 500 short. That's kind of ugly. What if we got off Odell? If we get off Odell, it's going to leave us, we could go Demetrius Harris, Kareem Hunt. We could go, ooh. What's the lineup I had before? I think it was no Chubb. I kind of like Chubb a lot more on FanDuel than I do on DraftKings. Yeah, this is what I had before. I think this looks pretty good for cash games is what I'm talking about. But Baker, you have his pass catcher coming out of the backfield who had 9 targets last week, Kareem Hunt. James Conner, who's unfadable on FanDuel. I think, obviously, he's unfadable in cash, period, I think. Odell Beckham at 11.5, not a bad price tag, who's getting 12 targets last week. I don't see why you wouldn't want to play him at 11.5 in your flex. And then you have kicker Chris Boswell. I'm also okay with taking Austin Seibert if you want to flip them around kicker to kicker. The 500 does not matter. Leave it on the table. I will not be mad at you for that. But that's what I'm really looking at for tonight. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. I know it's probably a quicker video. I don't have my timer up, but regardless, I don't want to just drone on and on because I am going to be live, hopefully right around 4 o'clock Eastern. Give or take 30 minutes. If you have not already, click that link in the description. Follow me on Twitch. Come over there. Be active with me in the chat. We can talk. Any questions you ask in the chat will be answered for the most part. It's just really fun to sit there and kind of go back and forth with you guys and talk about the slate. We will be talking about this game. We will also be talking about NBA, but I hope to see most of you guys over there. I will see you there. I will see you then. So good luck to everybody tonight in NBA if you're playing it. And good luck to everybody tonight on this Showdown Thursday Night Football slate.